All right, so let's get started. We're going to start lying down and having your block there, though we won't need it right away. So we're just going to start lying flat. Calm down. Finding that way of being that you're both easeful on the floor. You can have the legs bent or straight, but still being very present with that ease. Big inhale and exhale. Letting go of anything you're holding on to. And just noticing if there are any body parts that we're feeling a little bit grippy. And taking a few moments, feeling that wave of the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And then one more deep breath here. And we'll just take a stretch overhead with the arms. And then bending the knees. And let's see, let's grab our block here. If you have a block, if you don't, that's fine. You can just squeeze the legs together. If you have that block, putting the block between the knees and give that block a little squeeze, anchoring the core to the floor. We're just going to do some simple hinges for a moment. And so lifting those legs up about a right angle, maybe pulling in a little closer. And then reaching the toes a little bit away to touch down. Try to keep that core flattened and lifting up. So we'll inhale, touching the toes down. Exhale, pulling those legs up, flattening through the core. Inhale and exhale. If you want to add a little more, we can put the arms there. As the toes reach away, the arms come overhead. Inhale. Exhale, pressing the arms down as we pull the legs in. Just doing that 3 or 4 more times. Not as if you're doing some strenuous fitness exercise, but yoga-like. Feeling that extend, that flatten and draw in. And then we'll finish with the legs up, taking those arms to the side, and let's lower the knees over toward the left, hovering an inch or so above the floor. Take a breath, pull the abdominal muscles back against the spine, and then letting that pull you back to the center. Over to the other side. Pause there, pull the abdominal muscles back, deepening the twist a little, and then coming back. And we'll do that 3 or 4 more times. And then you also have the option to just let the legs rest on the floor and do it a little more easily and stretchingly. Try to really feel what you're doing instead of just feeling the effort of what you're doing. And even if it's a little challenging to hold those legs hovering, still feel the stretchy twistness of it, a little lengthen across the outer hip. we'll finish up with this in the next few breaths, finishing up for yourself. And then we'll all be back in the center. Just press those abdominal muscles down for a moment. And then we will set the legs down, take that block out, setting it aside. And we're going to figure 4, crossing the right leg over, reaching through the triangle, holding behind your left leg or across the knee. Inhaling and exhaling. Round a little up toward the shin if you want to, or maybe need to get hold here. Just make sure you're not tensing the face of the jaw, the shoulders aren't squeezing up too much around the ears. And then we're going to keep that right leg in the figure 4 as we set our left foot back down. Myself straightened out here. There we go. All right, so press that right shin away from you. So your outer right shin will press into the left thigh, and that right outer knee will press away. But don't let the hips twist, keep them even. And we're going to hinge up with that resistance. So we're going to lift up, and the right leg is resisting. The left leg has to push against it to come up to about a right angle. And then going down, it's the opposite. The left leg is trying to stop the right leg from pushing it down as you slowly set that leg back down. Let's do that 3 more times. Resisting, hinging up. And resisting, hinging down. So it's up to you to do the work here. And of course, you can always choose to be more stretchy, and you can do more stretchy figure 4 if you would rather. And then once more, hinging up and hinging down. And we'll pull that right thigh into the chest. Flex your left foot, slide that left leg out to straight. And we'll just take a few breaths here. If you want to round up knee to the nose, since we're doing a little gentle core stuff, you can do that. And then setting the right leg down, get that left leg, cross that over in the figure 4. And then we'll do the stretchy figure 4, reaching through the triangle, pulling that in. Maybe a little round up. Making sure you're not overusing the tops of the shoulders or using your face and jaw. And then keeping the figure 4 on the left leg, set the right foot down. And take a few moments finding that resistance, pressing the left outer knee away, the left ankle, so it's like the whole left shin presses away, but don't let the pelvis twist. Keep that anchored and square. And then we'll hinge up with that left leg resisting. Right leg has to work hard to push into that left leg. And then we do the opposite coming down. That left leg's trying to press down, the right leg resists. And we'll do that 3 more times. Inhale and exhale, breathing up. Inhale and exhale, breathing down. And then doing that once more. And there we are with the right foot on the floor. Pull the left knee into the chest, flex the right foot, slide that right leg out to straight. Maybe a little rounding up knee to the nose. And then setting that left leg down, bend the right. We'll take that block, slide it under the sacrum, and straightening out both legs. Opening up all that hinging we just did. And then let's add the arms here with the arms coming up overhead. Inhale and exhale. So we're not hinging up here as the arms press down, but still feel some of that draw up and flatten there. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale. So we're not changing our shape as the arm in the rest of the body as the arms move. We're not changing that shape, but we change what's going on with the muscles a little bit. Well, isometric work, and also makes an isometric stretch. You might feel that stretch down the front of the hips and thighs increase a little as the arms press down. And we'll do this once or twice more. And then we will finish with that. And bend the knees. Lifting up off that block, rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. And let's roll ourselves up into the bridge pose, tucking that tailbone up, peeling off the floor. Interlock the fingers underneath, pull the upper arms out. Pressing down into the feet, pressing down into the upper arms. And you can also bend the elbows if you want and get those hands onto the sacrum to lift a little more. Feeling each breath. Can you breathe into the sides of the body? Can you breathe into the back? And then rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, landing on the floor. And then we will come up to sitting. Here we are. And the cross-legged Sukhasana, the easeful pose, which might feel a little more easeful after all that figure four in there. And using those arms alongside, lengthening up, getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets. And slowly release with the arms, letting the hands rest on the knees. And there we are, long and flat against the wall behind. Really feeling that breath. And then let's reach out wide with the arms, and we'll breathe those arms up and down 3 times. Inhale and exhale, taking up lots of space. Inhale and exhale, taking up a little more space, and twice more. And then coming forward, Breathing into the back of the body. Just press that back of the body onto the floor for a while. Now it gets to expand and open a little more. We'll walk the hands over to the right diagonal, reaching long, especially with that left side. And then left hand on the right knee, or maybe on the floor if that works better, as we twist open, pulling that right arm up, and then pull those abdominal muscles back into the spine a little, almost like you're trying to do a cat back. You're not really, but pulling them in, noticing that may make you twist a little more. And then reaching that right arm over the ear in a little side bend. And then letting that right arm pull you back down to the center, extract your left. Coming up, unfurling that spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arrive on those sitting bones again. And then we will change the cross of the legs. Coming forward, we'll do that same thing on the left. So coming forward, taking a few breaths here, expanding the backs and the sides. And then walking the hands over to the left diagonal, really reaching through that right side. And right hand on the left knee, or maybe on the floor, as we twist open to the left, reaching up through that left arm. And then that pulling the abdominal muscles into the spine a little more, almost like you're cat backing, but don't really. And then let that action help you twist more. And then we will bring that left arm over the ear in a little side bend. And then pulling down with that left arm back to the center. Get your right arm out there. Take a few breaths here, lengthening through both sides. And coming up, unfurling that spine back up on top of the sitting bones. Everything lands there. Inhale and exhale. And let's come up and downward facing dog. So taking your time getting there. You can do that extend the leg back thing that I do sometimes. If you want to do that first. All right, so making your way there. Breathing into the backs of the legs. Walking that dog or anything else you want to do. All right, and then let's find the best downward facing dog of this moment. Inhaling up to those sitting bones, exhale, pouring down the backs of the legs. And lengthening forward to that plank, like you're dragging the hands back, pulling the toes forward. So that's another thing that's doing sort of a cat backing action that we then don't actually cat back much. Just using that action to stabilize the core. And then we'll Asta Namaskar or any other means down to the floor. Setting the knees down. Big arch in the lower back. Pulling that upper chest forward and down. And sliding out to the small cobra. Press the tailbone down. Reaching back through the legs. Squeeze the elbows in. And can you take your hands off the floor? And coming down. And let's bring the arms forward into the Sphinx. Elbows under the shoulders. Pulling the elbows and the outer arms back, lengthening forward. And also reaching back through the toes. Tailbone to the floor. Feeling like that block is on the sacrum, pressing you down and you're stretching over it. And then coming down, we will peel ourselves up to downward facing dog. You can hold the downward facing dog or maybe go through the vinyasa. Any version. And one or two more breaths in downward facing dog. And looking between the hands to jump or step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. And folding over. Deep breath here. Coming up to standing into the front body yawn. And pressing those arms down, taking up lots of space. And long through the top of the head, pouring down through the sides of the neck, off the tops of the shoulders, out the fingertips. And then a big circle with the shoulders front to the back to interlock those fingers behind. Lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And we will hinge over, pressing out through the hands, coming over. Releasing the head. And release the hands. Concave back, halfway up, folding over. We're going to step back with the left leg, so we have our right lunge. Long through the top of the head, long through that left heel, and then bringing the left knee down in Jayasana. I'm going to take a little back stroke with the arms to straighten the right leg and hinging back, flexing that right foot, pulling back. And let's do that twice more. So reach through the toes, roll yourself forward and up. Take a breath here in the Anjayasana, or maybe two. And then a big reach back, hinging back, straightening that right leg, pulling everything back. And then once more, coming forward and up and over. And then reaching back, hinging back, flexing the right foot. And then rolling forward again, straightening up that left leg, stepping back to the plank, vinyasa or not, downward facing dog. And let's lift our right leg up, reaching long through the heel, reaching a little longer, reaching that left heel for the floor. And then bend the knee dog at the high fire hydrant, opening up that inner thigh. And through to the lunge. Let's turn to the elephant rider. Pressing those knees out. And maybe a little squinging in the hips. And then we'll straighten up, three-pointed star, coming up. Pressing those arms down, parallel to the floor, parallel feet. Rotate the right leg out 90 degrees into the warrior number 2. And then dancing warrior, bringing that right arm up. Keeping that lunge anchored down. And into the triangle, Trikonasana, kind of similar to what we were doing in the Anjayasana. Holding those hips back, hinging back. And let's do that again. Coming back to the warrior 2. A little longer and deeper. And dancing warrior. And triangle, straightening the right leg, hinging back. And we'll hold a few more breaths here in our triangle. And then coming back down to the lunge, stepping forward. Into the concave back, folding over. Maybe there's a big difference in the way your right and left legs feel now. And then we'll come up to steady. Big front body yawn. Lift a little more. And reaching those arms wide and down, long through the top of the head. So I'm just going over here to the other side, so I face you when we come around. And we'll do all that with the left. Big circle with the shoulders, interlocking the fingers. Lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And coming over, pressing out through the hands. Release the hands. Concave back, halfway up, folding over. We're going to step back with the right leg. Long lunge with our left leg in front now. And then bringing the right knee down, coming up in Anjayasana. Breathing here. And then a little backstroke, reaching back with the arms as we hinge back, flexing that left foot, pulling the hips back, pulling the toes back, pulling the knee back. And let's do that. You know, I don't remember if we did 2 or 3 times. I think we did 3. I'll probably know once we start. And then let's do that a couple more times. Coming forward into the lunge and up. Take a breath. Reaching back and hinging back. I think we did it 3 more times. That means we have 2 more times to go. Coming forward and up. Pause and stretch a moment. And then a big reach back, flexing that left foot. And once more. Hinging back. And then we will come forward, straightening up that right leg. Stepping back to the plank, vinyasa, downward facing dog. And let's lift the left leg up. Reaching long through the heel. Reaching down to the floor through the right heel. Bending the knee dog at the high fire height. And through to the lunge. Turning to the elephant rider. Pressing those knees back. A little shifting and squinching. And then coming up in the 3-pointed star, big lift up. Keep lifting even as you press those arms down parallel to the floor, turning the feet to parallel, and we'll rotate out the left leg. And into the warrior 2. Tracking that left knee over the foot. Reach back with the right arm. Inhale and exhale, long through the top of the head. And dancing warrior, bringing that left arm up and keeping that lunge anchored down. And into the triangle, Trikonasana, hinging back, tilting over. And then we'll do that once more, coming back up to the warrior 2. And then keep going. Oh wait, we're gonna hold here a couple breaths. And then dancing warrior. And hinging over into the triangle. Extending everything out. Keep that pulling back in the lateral plane feeling going on if you can, even as we reach forward to the top of the head.
And then coming down to the lunge, stepping forward into the concave back, halfway up, folding over. Let's Utkatasana on our way up. The chair pose. I think we all know. And we'll take a twist to the right. Wide arms. Hinging those hips back. Same kind of action we were doing. And then let's bring that right arm around. Hands to Namaste. Back to the center. Reaching forward, sitting back. And then twisting to the left, wide arms. Bringing the hands around to Namaste. Pulling that hinge of the hip joints back, lengthen through the top of the head. And Namaste, center, reaching forward. And then coming up, pressing the feet into the floor, into the front body yawn. And all the way around to Namaste this time. All right, off we go. Well, Utkatasana, we'll take the ripple into it. So coming up in the front body, yawn. Bend the knees, reaching around with the arms as they come forward, a little tuck of the tailbone and flatten out. And releasing over. Continuing as usual, concave back, folding over, vinyasa, downward facing dog. All right, so now we'll be getting back around to our figure four as we lift the right leg up. And hover plank knee forward and figure four dog. Hinging back, crossing that right shin over the bottom of the left thigh and feeling that press back with the right leg. Even as there's a little press into it with the left leg. And maybe if your ankle is all right with it, bending that left knee. And then we'll straighten up that left leg and just step forward with the right leg into the lunge. And warrior one, grounding that left heel down. And coming up, warrior one, or it could be the high lunge. Inhaling up the front, exhale, pouring down the back. And then let's reach forward on the diagonal just for a moment, and then the arms will continue. So we're taking the arm circle around the other way, front to the back, and back up. And let's do that once more. Front to the back, coming up. Namaste in front. Namaste into the floor. Stepping back to downward facing dog, lifting the left leg up. And same thing on the left. Hover plank knee forward to go back to figure four dog. Pressing back with the left leg, a little resistance from the right. And maybe a little more, bending that right knee so you can really press it into the left shin. Straightening up the right leg, stepping forward, warrior number 1. And taking a few circle breaths. And then we'll reach on a long diagonal forward, and then continuing with the arms swooping back and pulling you back up into the warrior 1, and once more around. Namaste in front and into the floor. Stepping back to downward facing dog, lifting that right leg up. And same sort of thing. Knee forward, hover plank. Figure 4 dog. And maybe bending that left knee. And extend, and then we're just going to pull that right knee to the elbow to the pigeon. Maybe with your block there, or the sitting to the side pigeon, whatever works here. And doing that cobra action for a few breaths up the front, down the back. Coming forward and over. And is there any other shape we already did that you can use to deepen how you feel here in the pigeon, to deepen your awareness? When you think of doing the line on the back, stretchy pigeon, how does that relate? How does all that figure 4ing connect? Or maybe we're just going to breathe. And one more deep breath. Coming up. And we're going to reach through that left leg, turn into Kavanasana, the angle pose. Reaching through the heels, giving a little lift up from behind. And let's come forward. And up. And let's turn toward the left leg, toward the back of your mat. Inhale and exhale. And then putting that, I'm not being the mirror here, the right hand on the left leg or maybe on the floor, Reaching around with the left arm into the half binding there. All right, so we're twisting left, left arm half binding, right arm reaching across yourself to that left leg, and then start sliding out with that left hand, or right hand, so it could be on the floor. Pulling that left shoulder back, pulling the abdominal muscles back, almost like you're resisting that coming forward and forward. One more breath here. And then coming up, letting everything unswirl itself. Deep breath. And then just turning back to the front of the mat, expanding to downward facing dog, and through the vinyasa or not. All right, we have to get around all of that on the left. So left, right, left. All right, here we are in downward facing dog. Let's lift that left leg up, reaching long through the heel, and hover plank, left knee forward. Figure four dog. So we're doing the warrior ones again as well, not just doing the pigeon on the left. And maybe bend the knee in that figure four dog. And extend that right leg, stepping forward to the lunge, and coming up in the warrior number one. Left leg in front. And then our circling with the arms, starting with the reach forward, and swooping the arms back around and lifting back up and over, doing that once more. Namaste in front, into the floor. Just step back to downward facing dog. And lift our right leg up. Hover plank, knee forward. Figure four dog with the right leg crossed over. And then maybe bending that left leg, feeling that resistance and resistance. Straightening the left leg, stepping forward, warrior one on the right. And then our circling, reaching forward, reaching back, coming up and over. And then doing that once more. And namaste in front. Into the floor, stepping back to downward facing dog, lifting the left leg up. Hover plank, there we go, hover plank. Figure four dog. Bending that right knee, or not. Straightening the right leg and then left knee to the left elbow to the floor, to the pigeon. Inhaling up the front, exhale, pouring down the back. And coming forward, reaching out and over. Feeling what you can feel here, maybe looking for things to do to give yourself a little bit different awareness somewhere, or not. Maybe you're just breathing. Letting things come to you instead of necessarily looking for them. And one more deep breath here. Coming up. And we'll reach with that right leg, turn into Konasana, the angle pose. Reaching out. Coming forward. And then coming up. And we will twist to the right toward the back of the mat, toward our right leg. And that left arm comes across, the hand is on the leg or maybe on the floor. And then reaching around with the right arm into the half binding, rolling that shoulder down and back, deep in the twist a moment. And then sliding out over that right leg, reaching with the left hand either on the leg or maybe on the floor, pulling that right shoulder back, pulling the abdominal muscles back a little, but not enough to actually impede your progress forward. And then here we are, hopefully breathing. Unswirl those arms. Taking a breath. And we'll bring those legs in, squeeze into a little ball for a moment. And we'll make our way down to the floor to Shavasana. So if there's something else you would like to do before Shavasana, you can go ahead and put that in. Of course, there's also potentially time after class, since you are at home or wherever, you can take more time. Anyway, here we go to Shavasana. Getting those two sides as even as you can. Remembering to include the neck and the head as you do that. And finding your arm position, maybe the traditional one, arms glued to the side, palms up, hands on the belly, somewhere a little wider to the side, maybe up overhead, as long as those arms can be completely supported on the floor and it doesn't squinch your upper body like this, with the chest sort of sinking down and the chin up. And then letting go, sinking into the floor. So if you can continue to stay, take a little more time here, resting, please do. Otherwise, if you have to move on with the day, we're circling the wrists and ankles. Stretching the arms overhead. Bend the knees. Make your way gently up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with that long and spacious spine. More moments sitting quietly inside yourself.
Namaste. Thank you for coming. Oh, I can't find the mouse. Oh, there it is.